welcome to our Thursday night live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
Two Crazy Ketos. And if you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics. And every Monday, we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, in that way, every single time it's Friday night instead of Thursday night, you'll be alerted to it. Can you flash those teefers for everybody to see? We're back.
We're back.
So scary. I am so sorry that we were not able to go live last night, but we had a denture emergency.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was
snapped in half.
I was on my way back to Fort Lauderdale to help Anthony cut grass, which we weren't able to do because evidently it hasn't stopped raining there for the last week.
Crazy.
Which it hasn't been raining up here. So, but yeah, I literally got down the road and my denture snapped in half because this is still an acrylic piece instead of the flexi. And so fortunately we have a place that fixed it right away, and we did finally get the opportunity to have them make a new one because this is the same one that snapped in January.
Do you think you will have the new dentures before Keto Palooza?
I don't know.
We're hoping.
I got to go back next week so that they can do the wax fitting, and then if that fits okay, then they go ahead and make the real ones.
While Joe was heading back to our home in Coconut Creek to help Anthony, but then had the denture emergency, I was heading over.
Tin can sound.
Oh, sorry. I was babysitting Peyton. And so you think to yourself, like, well, what do you bring the baby as like a special treat? You know what the request was?
What?
Carnivore bar. She loves carnivore bar.
I think the microphone is using a microphone you may not want to use.
Oh, okay. Let's see if we can fix it.
It's using that.
I'm afraid to talk now.
Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and turn off it. There might be like compression or something on it. We need to... No.
Don't make noises. Wait.
Just talk.
I'm afraid to talk. I'm afraid to say anything.
Let's turn off the high pass filter.
How is that?
And turn off noise gate.
Is that helping?
Does that sound better? Any better?
Does that sound
Chris,
better?
tell me if that's any better. Matt said that I can do a 3D print for a new set of teeth.
I think that's actually a good idea. That would be kind of a challenging thing. You know, if George Washington supposedly had wooden dentures, why can't you in this modern age have 3D printed dentures?
I don't know.
It's a possibility.
Trish said not yet. Rachel, talk, and then he can get the right level.
How's it sounding now?
Still sounds like
louder,
a tin can.
But still
y'all
echoey.
Sound good.
Okay.
I don't know. We haven't changed anything. Same sound.
Same sound.
Well,
Trish could bedazzle your teeth. That would be very interesting.
We haven't changed anything. Let's turn off all processing. All parameters. Cancel. Let's try that.
How about that? Is that better? Does that sound less weird?
Or we could also just like turn on echoes and stuff.
Uh-oh, let's not do that. I don't want to scare anybody. Sounds fine on my phone. Okay.
I can hear you, and that's all good by me.
Aw, thank you. You guys are so encouraging.
I'll wait until see if Chris tells me if it's any better.
Chris?
It takes, remember, louder but still echoey.
That was just a minute ago.
Right.
So we've already seen that. I'm waiting. Okay. Andy's here. Hey, Andy. How is your mom doing?
I don't know why it's doing that. It shouldn't be doing that. But of course, like, you know, you had all the updates and everything.
That's the thing. As soon as a program updates, completely different. Quieter, but still echoey. Sounds like a different microphone. We don't even know what's to do no more.
Okay. Road unified check.
Don't hum.
What we're going to do is we are going to try this.
How about that? How does
I
that
haven't
sound?
changed anything yet.
Okay.
We're going to try to just use the camera microphone.
How does that sound?
And if that doesn't work, then we will just use the MacBook microphone.
Hi guys. Hi Lynette. How are you?
Maybe that's what we'll do. We're just going to use the MacBook microphone. Going to play with this all night.
How does it sound? Is that a little better? Is it sounding good?
So anyway, okay. If you're new here, we
Sorry.
have technical issues. Don't ask me why.
It's just
Because
a Too Crazy Ketos thing.
This is literally the same exact setup from the other day.
Right. So Monday was no problem, but today is a new day. And
Chris said, I
all
vote
the
just
things.
move on. That's exactly what I'm doing. It's bet better. Yep. We're just going to, now it's echo. Sounds good. We're going to go with it. We either go with it or we stop live streaming.
No, we go with it.
Okay. So if you're new here, Thursday live streams are really just about hanging out with our community and fixing different types of issues with technical problems and things like that. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type the word question and then whatever your question is. Or you can use the super chat function. When you do that, that's little $sign is down in the chat window, and that highlights our screen and lets us know that you have a question.
I noticed that Sarah from Sarah's Joyful Journey had a great question in our Mighty Networks group. She is starting a new job. So excited for her. And she was talking about what are some foods that are like keto friendly foods that you could keep in a desk. So not in the refrigerator, not in like a pantry situation.
Meat sticks, carnivore bars.
I've started to even
pork
go
rinds.
Because individual servings of things, pickles, olives. I'll keep a jar of olives in my office.
Yeah, but you're supposed to refrigerate them.
No regrets. I have not, and they're still fine because I don't know. I've never had a problem with them. Different pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. I like almonds. They do individual.
Now I'm going to be a spoiler
of almond butter.
But now I'm going to be a spoiler.
Okay,
these are all snacky foods. You shouldn't snack.
I know, but she has a very long shift, and so she's looking for things like maybe you packed your lunch, and you thought you packed enough, but you want a little something more. I've had that. It's not a snacky thing.
I would just go with meat sticks and stuff like that.
It's actually an intuitive eating thing. So you're a little bit hungry.
Monica keeps a keto brick in her purse.
That's smart because you always have it handy.
Chris has canned sardines. Chris, something's wrong with you. Canned sardines, smoked mackerel, stuff like that in my desk.
The only thing is, then no one wants to be in the office with you. I feel like my mom.
Andy has a keto brick in her purse.
When my mom was pregnant with me, she had read somewhere that things like canned mackerel, sardines, that sort of thing was good for a baby's brain. And so she decided to like go full Dr. Boz, I guess, when she was pregnant with me at the time. And so she brought in like fish every single day. And this, we're talking about 1976 here, 1975, 1976. And she was like, and that's what I had. And she said it stunk up the entire office. But when people like she worked with was like, hey, she was like, baby's brain. But I thought that was interesting but she did not make friends that year.
Speaking of your mom, I'm going to thank you to your mom for, while I was gone, sitting here pulling staples all day long.
So yes, when I got back from babysitting Peyton, my mom came to visit and we had a little sleepover last night. And then this morning she went right to work, helping me pull out staples, work with the renovation. She just turned 75 years old. And what I wanted her to do was just pull up a chair and watch me work and just visit. And she was like, Rachel, stop treating me with fire tongs. I am well now. Right. You're remembering the times where I had 20 years of type 2 diabetes and you could never be confident in how I felt.
I felt very unsteady. She always was like, we would be shopping at the mall and I would get scared because she would have like a fainting spell there.
Right.
And so now she's like, I'm well, I can do stuff. So it was interesting to be with her. And I forget sometimes, because we've been keto for so long, I sometimes take for granted that this is just the new normal now. Look, we are well, and
Right.
she is well. And I love that. She's like, you know what? I love the fact that I am a senior and I'm not in the way. I'm helpful. I contribute. Like, I love that. She's like, I can have a day and I feel like I got a lot done.
Well, I want to pour a concrete pad. So call her up here so that we can move 160-pound bags of concrete.
She would definitely chip
She would
in.
try.
She
I wouldn't
would.
let her do it. But okay, I think I may have found the problem. So I'm going to switch back to the good microphone.
Okay.
And I want everybody to let me know. It's going to take about 20 seconds. And let me know if this changes anything.
What do you think the problem was?
This, I had it on an app open, and so I think it was adding a bunch of synthesizing and stuff like that in it. So let me know if it gets better with that. So I did see somebody had a question. Sarah said,
Hey.
those are great ideas. I start at 10:30. I work till 9. 30-minute lunch will be at 3:30. I also have to leave at 8:30. I'm worried about only getting one lunch break.
That's wise. I think that like making sure that you have extra things to like beef up. I don't know how quickly you eat. Joe eats
I take forever.
slowly. I am a fast eater. Are you a fast eater or are you a slow eater? We're supposed to be like Nurse Cindy says and chew every mouthful of food
a bunch of times,
20 times at least.
Golf Addict has a question. I totally demolished my carnivore diet the other day at a golf barbecue party. 3 hamburgers, 2 hot dogs, all with buns, and a huge plate of potato salad. Am I savable at this point? Just restart. Just
of course.
Listen, if you slip up, you just act like it didn't happen. And the very next meal, you
not
get
the next
back
day.
on. Not the next day, not the next week. One of the reasons that we are not proponents of cheat days or cheat meals is because many times a cheat meal becomes a cheat day, which becomes a cheat week, which becomes a cheat month. And so for us is if you slip up, then you literally just act like it didn't happen. Don't fast to make up for it. I mean, that's binging and purging. Okay, just act like it didn't happen. Your body's going to get right back into ketosis.
You know what? I like how you said that. Slip up. What would you do if you physically slipped and fell down on the ground? Would you lay there on the ground for a really long time? Would you completely like just get right back up and keep walking? Like, what would you do? How would you handle any slip up? Yeah. If I have a slip up, I'm going to get up immediately. I'm not going to stay there and wait to see like, well, what happens next, right? Just get up.
So Jamie, I got a bunch of questions. So Jamie has a question. So Joe, when someone's just starting keto, you recommend not worrying about snacking. Yes, just no carbs. Yes. So if somebody's getting started on keto,
it's different.
I don't care if they eat 50 meals a day.
Yeah.
Listen, it's hard enough to give up the pasta, the grains, the sugar, or starches, all that stuff. So for the first 2 to 3 weeks, I don't want them counting calories. I don't want them. All I want them to literally do is don't eat pasta, grain, sugar, stuff like that.
You're just transitioning to new food.
Yep. And so you're not going to worry about calories, macros, anything. Keep your carbs as low as possible, somewhere around 20. The sound is worse still, needs to be switched back.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Guess this is just it. Don't do that voice thing.
Okay. MacBook. Yeah, we're just going to use that microphone. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so yeah, to just literally don't count carbs. I'd rather don't eat carbs. That's all I want them to do.
Don't count them?
I don't care if they snack. After 2 or 3 weeks, then we start like trying to get to 2 or 3 meals. The thing is a lot of times if you're focusing on meat and not eating carbohydrates, it comes naturally. You just find yourself not snacking.
Think about what a snack really is. I mean, Dr. Sivas is going to tell you it's an emotional, response. Like it's an event that's happening. But also on top of that is you're trying to top off. carbohydrates don't keep you full. You burn through carbohydrates. That's why you could order, like in the past, we would go to like, get Chinese food, a bunch of rice, and we would eat like a pint of rice. And then like an hour later, think to yourself, like, I could eat. And I can remember thinking to myself, am I a monster? Why could I eat again? I know that I just finished a ton of food. And so that's what we kind of get in the habit of snacking, because we don't get full and be satiated in between meals.
Okay, so John said, if you are still looking for allulose syrup, I get it at Walmart in the baking aisle. Might work better for your slushies. So I thought about using RX Sugar's allulose syrup, but my feeling was it was expensive. And for us with the slushies, I was trying to keep the cost down. Because literally all allulose syrup is allulose dissolved in water. So you're paying them to turn it into a syrup.
Me and Mommy really enjoyed the slushie machine yesterday. I'm not going to lie. Like, we probably polished off an entire gallon of slushies. But you know what?
You drank like an entire gallon the other day by yourself.
But I noticed that I'm feeling so much better. Yeah. I think that I have really been underdoing my electrolytes, because you think to yourself, I have to have had enough, like 1 or 2, 3 a day when we were back in Coconut Creek and I was mostly doing office work was enough. Not now.
Right.
I mean, we are pouring the sweat all day long.
I'm not giving you what I brought up from the house to make slushies, because you'll just drink them all.
What'd you do?
Caramel Vibes makes the most amazing slushie.
I have not tried that flavor yet.
Yeah, you won't be either. I'm hiding that bag for me.
Can I just tell you also, no kidding. The only thing that Mommy was sad about was we had finished off the last keto chow and she's like, I want the milkshake, but you were like bringing up some more keto chow, but we had finished the one that we had the ones that we had made.
Right.
And so, like we said in the video, you don't want to make them and then drink them immediately.
No, you need to make it the day before.
Because that's
at least a couple of hours before.
The frappe, that was basically like, for me, it was the perfect level of shake.
Jesse said, keto lifestyle win. I was told it would be likely a month or longer healing from a tonsillectomy. Today is 2 weeks in surgery. I'm off all pain meds. Yay! And eating steak and bacon jerky again.
Wow, that is awesome. And we hear that over and over again, that people recover from surgical procedures better with better nutrition. It makes sense, though, to be honest, right? Like, if you are like not feeling great and then you eat something that's going to be inflammatory for you, or something that's going to give you a stomach ache, or something that's going to give you a headache, it makes sense that just drags out the healing process.
Did my allulose come, by the way?
This is the time for you to check that thing?
Well, everybody's talking about allulose. Now I got to remember, did I order it or was I just looking at it? Oh, I got to sign.
Really?
Yeah. So everyone's talking about allulose. Someone found allulose cheaper at Walmart than it was on Amazon. People ask us a lot of times, like, which allulose do you use? Whichever one is cheapest on Amazon.
The one is on sale.
I generally buy 3 or 5 pound bags.
And here's what I've learned. We don't find it at every grocery store.
Most of our grocery stores don't have it except for RX Sugar. And though I like RX Sugar's other products, I don't really like their allulose because it's too grainy. It's very granular, and I want it more powdery.
Better. But then I will say, well, one grocery store chain just doesn't, I guess, carry allulose, and then out of the blue we will visit a different location and it'll have it. So I think that some supermarkets, I know Publix is like that, you can go to customer service and request a product and they'll listen. The grocery store chain will be like, okay, well, maybe this is a regional thing. You can go and request things. You need to do that with the Real Good Foods tacos. You need to go request it.
You can't even get it.
Because we can't find them anywhere anymore. And Joe freaking loves those things.
Okay, so somebody said, Exposing Darkness said it's at Walmart for $400. So be careful with Walmart when you're looking on Walmart online. Understand Walmart's trying to become an Amazon. And so when you go on Walmart, yes, you can buy stuff directly from Walmart, but also regular companies,
Like Wayfair.
individuals, like anybody, mom and pop store can buy a product and put it on there. Like I can literally go buy it and then list it on Walmart to sell, and they charge whatever they want.
It's like a secondary.
So if I'm going to buy from Walmart.com, I literally will only buy if it says sold by Walmart.
Right.
If it's not sold by Walmart, because the problem is you're also not getting the Walmart return policy many times. So if you have some Joe Schmo or some company that is selling a product on Walmart's website, you can't go return it to Walmart many times if there's a problem. So far as I know, and I have messaged them, the only place to get the Ninja Slushie machine currently is on Ninja's website. It has sold out 5 times since its release.
I understand.
Now, it just so happens that when I checked it yesterday, it was in stock, but I don't know if it still is.
Now that we're using it, I understand why. I understand why it is so popular. And I really am looking forward to it for the holidays. I really think that that's a great idea.
So here's the thing. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. How popular is it? It's kind of opposite of what you would think, but we're affiliates for Ninja. You don't make a lot of money.
No.
They literally came out and said, listen, we're so limited in supply, we're reducing the commission, which was already only like 5% or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, so they literally made it pennies. They're like, listen, here's the thing, we keep selling out, so we're going to lower the commission. Usually you raise the commission when something sells.
But they can't keep it in stock.
We're lowering affiliate commissions, but only on the Ninja Slushie because we just can't keep them in stock. So I don't think they're going to be in Walmart. Maybe they're going to show up on Black Friday. I don't know.
We'll see.
It's a luxury item, that's for sure.
It definitely is. And we totally understand. And I know that like space is a commodity on people's, what you give preference to on your countertop space. Like that is what's important to you. We get it. We're in an RV right now. And I am telling you that like there are things that are losing their position in our RV because we are keeping the Ninja Slushie. We're keeping it in the RV.
For now.
Yeah.
Not when we go to Elkhart.
Right.
John said, look for Walmart Plus signs. I won't buy anything without a Walmart Plus. I did have a big issue returning with an outside supplier.
Plus, you don't know exactly when you're even going to get what you've ordered because sometimes it can be slower.
Just everything is different. It's just like, be careful. Like sometimes on Amazon, it's coming from China. So like I won't buy anything generally on Amazon unless it's Prime. Even if you're not a Prime member, you can usually look at who the seller is, but I won't buy stuff if it's like, if the shipping is different or if the return policy is different, I won't buy it. Jerry said, quit picking on old Joe Schmo. Miriam wants a Ninja Slushie machine. Chris, please buy me one.
It's really delicious. Like it was amazing. It was one thing because my mom is somebody who is guilty of letting her electrolytes slide. Right. She will be bad about it. In fact, a lot of times she and my aunt will use the capsules to make sure they get it in. They've like, she's like replaced medicine, which is great. I mean, I love that with electrolyte tablets. But when we were drinking it last night, she was like, I will never forget electrolytes when I come to your house and you've got the slushie machine ever.
Let's see. Marie said Walmart app filter to seller being Walmart.
Oh, that's good.
Jesse said my husband loves slushies, so I've hidden the Ninja Slushie machine video from him. We cannot afford another kitchen
There you go.
gadget.
And again, I know it's not for everybody, but you know what? I don't want to not make videos just because it's not for everybody. So don't feel like you have to get something because we made a video on it. And also, like, if we find something cool, we've got to make a video on it.
Synergy said if the Ninja Slushie is selling so well, they can't even keep it back in stores, is waiting for Black Friday deal, probably just wishful thinking.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't work for them. It's not like We have a deep relationship with them. Like I said, they didn't send it to me. I paid for it.
Yeah, and a lot of time, that would be the goal, right? But I don't know if you have enough time now, manufacturing wise. Do you have enough time if it's selling out now in the middle of September? By November, could they restock like so tremendously that they're going to have a Black Friday deal? I think that
it depends on companies. I
Yeah.
mean, listen, I ordered my new iPhone literally the second it came out, and not really, because I was online. I got on there at exactly 8 a.m., 5 a.m. Pacific time, and their system was like backlogged. And then I went in, and in the process of going from I want this phone to pay for this phone, it went from getting it today to not getting it until next week. Although I did get a thing saying it was I think it's being delivered on Monday, so we need to ask somebody to go stay at the house because we're not there. But it's amazing how quickly they can make things when they want to. It really just comes down to their manufacturing plan.
And definitely be loving on your FedEx person, your UPS person when those things are delivered. I remember talking to Mama Chris about the iPhone day, and she's like, that's a really scary day for delivery drivers because everybody knows that
they were being delivered.
They're being delivered, and they've got a truck full of highly, popular electronic equipment. Speaking of Mama Chris, Keto Palooza is coming up fast. Are you excited?
I'm very, very excited.
I'm excited for
this comment now.
Fall weather.
So Monica wanted to know about the slushie. We made a video. It came out yesterday. Basically, Ninja came out with this slushie machine about a month and a half ago, and you can make slushies with it. You can make frappes, milkshakes, frozen cocktails, things like that. We originally were not. We bought it and then we were gonna return it. When we opened up the box, and literally on the front it says you must use sugar.
In fact, it will have an indicator like not enough sugar in this. Like a light will come on. So we were like, oh no, we're never going to be able to use it. And then Joe figured out that allulose will work. Like a small amount of allulose.
Chris said Ferris Bueller has been absent 9 times.
9 times.
Jen said, I posted this on Money Networks, but since we are here, I am attempting to switch from aspartame to allulose.
Oh, good job.
I made a nice cold brew and used allulose and unsweetened almond milk. My blood sugar spiked to 191. I don't think that's from the allulose.
It's not the allulose.
Something is off there because allulose should actually lower your glucose.
We'll bring it down.
But I would definitely get off the aspartame. Do whatever you can to get off the aspartame.
Yeah.
But something's off there. Something is definitely off. Now, I don't know how you're checking your glucose. Allulose, and especially if it's on your finger, if you didn't really wash your hands well and wipe with alcohol, you will get false readings.
Yeah, we have before.
She said it also burned my mouth. Yeah.
No. Check and make sure. I don't know what you're using, but yeah, there's not even a cooling effect with allulose.
Matt said Keto Orlando Summit tickets are on sale for 2025. Yep.
Yeah, and they're changing the name of it. It's going to be now it's not, I want to say, what is it called? It's called Champions for Health or Champions of Health, I believe is what it's going to be called now.
Kat said, I don't understand the iPhone craze. Too expensive, proprietary, can't fix yourself. You actually can fix iPhones yourself now. They do sell kits and stuff for it. But listen, I don't think they're any more expensive than the good Samsung Galaxies. I mean, all the phones are super expensive.
Yeah.
I'm an Apple person. I actually like the proprietary. I like the way everything integrates with everything, and the fact that I can pick up one device and be working on the other device and the whole cloud thing. For us, I upgrade our phones before the cameras. It's for me, it's a business expense. The new camera features and the button and the sliding thing is absolutely worth it. So for us, it's a business expense, and we can't even do the commit thing because I'm grandfathered into an old plan.
Right.
So they said the only way you can get the phone completely for free is if you change your plan to the new plan, which would elevate my cell phone bill by almost $200 a month.
So we ain't doing
So
that.
the answer for that was no.
Yeah, we are not doing that.
You know, it's like you have Samsung or Galaxy and those fan people, and then you have Apple. You know, it just depends on what some people like. It's like Ford versus Chevy. You know, like if you're a truck person, like you
Or
will
Dodge.
never consider you will never get a Chevy person to want to buy a Ford. And for me, you know, it's gonna be really hard to get me off of a Ford because I've been using them for so long, and they just make a better product that does more than the other companies.
I can remember, like, my grandfather.
The only thing that would get me lower is to change his cost.
I can remember my grandfather saying, "We dodge Dodges," like not wanting a Dodge, like we're Ford men, you know. So it was just kind of funny that, like, it's, and I don't know why, like, people are so allegiant to one or another.
Jamie said, "I like phones under $130." Donna Joe said, "Gotta run, guys. Hubby time. Hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. I should be around for the Monday live."
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Now tomorrow we will be premiering a video hopefully in the morning on our Two Crazy Campers channel with some updates about like what's been going on, and if you're interested in seeing what's going on in the Double K farms, there we've got some information in that tomorrow.
Marie said glycerin-based hand sanitizers also give false high blood glucose readings because of the glycerin. Lisa said it's still 1,000,000 degrees here in Phoenix. Okay, we're only in the high 90s. Having a slushie would be great.
I wanted to bathe in it. I mean, it has been, we're just pouring sweat, like just pouring, because even when it is like 78 to 80 degrees, it's so much humidity on top of it. So yeah.
Synergy said, "Thank you guys for the reviews of Brooklyn bedding. I finally got one. It is great."
Yay.
I love it. Anthony and Sarah are in the market for a mattress, and I told them like we'll help them, and they were like, "Yeah, I still can't afford that." And I'm like, "Listen, the most important thing is your sleep. Do not cheap out on a mattress. You don't have to buy a Brooklyn bedding mattress,
but get a good mattress."
Like he's like, "Well, I want to spend like $300." Like, do not cheap out on a mattress.
That's not going to be good for the marriage.
It's not good for your marriage. It's not good for your health. Like, get a good mattress. And, you know, the thing is, he's like, "Well, we've been going to Costco, but we can't sleep on them. We can't lay in them." I'm like, I know. That's a problem. At least with Costco, you can return them. But the problem is when you get these ones that, like, expand, have fun returning a king-size mattress. Because, like, it's great. It comes in a box. Now you got to return it.
So mommy, like I said, we had a sleepover last night. So she has never slept on our Brooklyn bedding mattress before. She got in the bed and she was like, "Oh my goodness, how do you work? How do you leave this RV in the morning? It is so nice." I woke up because I was like, "Oh, you know, we have the morning together. Let's like start early talking and chatting and visiting. You want me to get you a coffee? You want to go in and like sit in the recliners and we'll have coffee?" She goes, "Rachel, no. I want to stay longer in this mattress. It is so freaking comfortable." So I'm like, it's a really good mattress. It was funny that she was like,
Chris said, "I spent over an hour looking at F450 configurations available now. The front seat can hold 3 people, 40, 20, 40, or fold down to a console. Is only available in base versions."
Oh, wow.
John said he rarely goes over $100 for a phone. Franny said, we were not Dodge people. My dad bought a new Dodge pickup. The door fell off in 1 week.
So when I was young, there was a car that was very popular, and that was like the Reliant K. Do you remember the Reliant K? We had several friends who had bought one of those. Every single one of them, the air conditioning went out in it. Now, remember, like we're growing up in South Florida. So it was a popular thing that you can rely on the Reliant K to drop the air conditioning.
Let's see. Oh, I saw Lisa said, "I love my Brooklyn. They are made here. I've had one for 6 years." Yep, they're made in Arizona.
Super comfy.
Andy said, "We have a purple mattress. My mom's mattress is a brick, but I'll still sleep on it because my mom sleeps better. I'm there with her."
I'm so glad that you're together, Andy. I know that makes so much like Like, just makes her feel so much better right now.
Andrea said, a question. I just want to cruise to the Caribbean. When is the best season to book?
Wow.
Okay, so and that reminds me of
Congratulations.
another question that I saw earlier, but I don't remember who it was. I couldn't find it. So when is the best season to book for the Caribbean? It depends on what you're looking for. I would say end of February, March, April, May, November, December, January, and the first half of February is always kind of up in the air.
Right.
Sometimes we get like
Perfect.
lots of waves, not a lot of rain, but a lot of waves. But it can be cold. It depends on where you're coming from. If you're coming from Minnesota,
You're like
cold. 60 degrees is not cold.
Get real.
But for me, it's cold. Like, I'm not going we went last year in December and like barely wanted to get in the water at Coco Cay. Someone coming from Minnesota is probably going to be like, this is awesome.
Freaking awesome.
I personally would avoid end of June, July, August, September, and even the first half of October because it's hurricane season.
Yeah.
So especially August, September, that is like August, September, and the first half of October is like the heart of hurricane season. That's where you get a lot of turbulence in the Caribbean. And though they generally won't cancel your trip, they will go around the hurricane. It does make for people being upset because
excursions.
You may lose your port of call. It could be an extra sea day. And it also sometimes results in being out on the ship longer, which some people will not complain about. I wouldn't if I'm leaving Florida, but I also am not in a situation where I have to catch a flight. If you have a flight going home on Monday and they go, listen, we can't go into port, you're not going to be going back out till Tuesday or Wednesday. Well, you've missed your flight. That's why you need travel insurance.
Yeah.
Which is what the other question is. Somebody said, do we have a link for travel insurance? If you need travel protection, email me at 2kktravel@gmail.com and I can help you out. So I always tell people, if you're going on a cruise, don't get your travel protection from the cruise line. Yes, it will be a couple of dollars cheaper, usually not much cheaper. They also don't do certain states like the state of New York. You cannot get travel insurance through the cruise line if you live in the state of New York. And there's a few other states as well. But the thing is the travel and protection through a cruise line only covers your cruise. It only covers your cruise. So if you miss your flight, you're out of luck. If you have a situation where, you're coming in and they lose your luggage, travel insurance from the cruise line doesn't count. You want to get a full thing. So you can either get a single trip or you can get an annual plan. If you're going to travel more than 2 to 3 times in a year, sometimes an annual plan is better because you can get one for as little as $400 for both you and your partner.
Which is kind of nice.
So, and that will cover every trip you do for the year that's more than 200 miles from your house.
Franklin.
Matt, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Said wanted to send this because we love y'all so much.
I love you. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Jennifer said, Keto Chow doesn't raise my blood sugars. I have worn a CGM over 26 years every day.
Wow. Yeah, no, we have not had any experience with Keto Chow raising our numbers.
Matt said, hurricanes are great. We sailed right through the center of one when I was in the Navy. Made it very rough 3 days.
Oh, man. The bummer is really to the excursions and stuff. And sometimes they won't even.
Also, during the summer, it's super hot.
Oh, yeah. But sometimes they won't cancel them. I remember we got something simple like, mats. Remember, like we got like floaties. It was impossible to even get on them. And some people, like when you went to Coco Cay, they were not canceling the water park.
Right.
Like you still had to be like, okay, well, I paid for this water park and now like the weather was terrible, like the wind blowing crazy. And it's like, yep, you're still can go on that. And you're like, I don't want to go on it right now.
Lisa said we loved our Dodge until it was totaled last December. I thought about buying a Dodge because of the Cummins engine. But then I looked at the towing capacity. It's not close. The thing about Dodge over Ford is Dodges are more luxurious inside. But they don't have the towing capacity of a Ford.
I loved my Chrysler, which is like a Dodge project. My Chrysler Pacifica was like one of my favorite mom cars of all of the mom cars we had. It was like so comfortable, very roomy, but it looked like not like a giant submarine on the outside. It was really cute.
Trish said, speaking of snow cone, Skinny Mixes has a huge sale on their syrups. That's good to know.
Nice.
And I did see that somebody said, Jesse said, I have a snow cone machine, so I wonder if I can make a snow cone syrup with electrolytes and allulose. Could be.
Yeah.
I would try it.
I would.
Because sugar-free syrups just aren't thick enough to use.
True.
Yeah, because again, they need sugar. And that's something that I didn't realize. I always wondered why, like, when you would go to Starbucks, everything came with classic. So if you didn't know, Starbucks puts something called classic syrup in many of their drinks. Even if you order
hot beverages.
Yeah, so you generally, I always recommend if you go buy anything other than black coffee, tell them no classic.
I still say,
because they will always, even if you say sugar-free vanilla, they will still put classic in there.
I still, when I order a black coffee at Starbucks, I say no classic. I mean, no classic. No classic. I say it no matter what I'm ordering at Starbucks, because I don't want them to just, like, if they're just used to putting a pump of it in everything, I want them to stop and not do it in mine.
Monica said, I try to find cruise insurance that covers canceled ports. So I always tell people to go to Allianz, but I can also help out with it. Again, when you go on a cruise, when you buy your ticket, you agree that they can change the itinerary. Now, many of the cruise lines are pretty good about compensating you, whether it be giving you a future cruise credit or giving you onboard credit, but you do agree that you can literally go on a 7-day cruise and they cancel all of the cruise ports and you're out of luck. You're just on the ship for 7 days because that's part of your agreement with them. Again, usually they're going to take care of you, but they don't have to. When they do that, it's more of they just want to make people happy so they don't badmouth the cruise line.
That's smart. It is a business.
John said, we just got rid of our Pacifica. It had a DVD player. It was really nice for trips.
I freaking love that thing. It was awesome.
Kelly said, I made a creamy and I added some keto condensed milk from Food Dreamer. I kept it from freezing solid and enhanced the flavor. Yeah, we actually have a recipe for keto condensed milk. We made it a few years ago.
And it's delicious. Like, check that out.
Marie said 7-Eleven used to have a Crystal Light slushie rotate through. Haven't seen one in like 15 years now. I remember that, but also Crystal Light uses maltodextrin.
So I think that
which is a sugar,
says a lot, right? So yeah, because just like we said in the video, I always lamented the fact, even before we were keto, I never really liked Coca-Cola. I didn't like straight soda that had, I grew up on Diet Coke. This was when you have a mom that's always dieting, the whole family drank Diet Coke from the time we were like 8 years old. So regular Coke always tasted like too much for me. So I always thought, why don't they make a Slurpee that is Diet Coke?
So Michelle said, I worked at Starbucks. There are only certain drinks like iced teas that are standard for getting classic syrup, but other syrup bases are full of sugar. So best to avoid all specialty drinks at Starbucks. That's good to know because we actually had a friend of ours who worked there and she said they were putting, at least the ones down by us in Fort Lauderdale, they were putting it in everything.
Yeah.
Like if you ordered a sugar-free, it was really pre-keto, but like a sugar-free vanilla caramel macchiato or whatever, I don't even remember. But they put classic in everything unless you ask them for no classic.
I don't know if that
she was the one who told me to start ordering them with no classic.
Because I don't know if it was just a case of like, so that no one ever forgets ever at her particular locations that she worked with, that it was just like, you know what, just put it in everything. Because it's just sugar.
I mean, it's like McDonald's, like, so when I moved to Florida, I thought it was odd that hamburgers came with mustard on them. McDonald's hamburgers have mustard on them.
Yeah.
Not in New York.
Do you guys not like mustard if you grew up in New York?
If you were in the city, McDonald's hamburgers did not have mustard on them.
Huh.
So when you move down to Florida, I would actually have to say, like, I want a hamburger New York style or a hamburger with no mustard because they put mustard standard on all the hamburgers.
Of course.
Well,
ketchup, mustard?
In New York, it was just ketchup.
Really? No, that's wild. Did you grow up eating ketchup and mustard on a hamburger or just
Lisa
ketchup?
said, OMG, I'm so afraid to order out now. just ask what's in things.
Yeah.
Don't freak out.
Just go ahead and ask them. And that is hard if you're not like, don't think to yourself that you are being an imposition. All you're doing is asking for your needs. And the more we cruise, the more they really appreciate that feedback, because they understand now, like they're having more and more people request things for like a low carb lifestyle. And so they want to serve you the best, because if you are somebody with like specialty like dining and they can serve you, you are more apt to use their cruise line. So whenever we are in like the dining, when we were on the cruise with Chris and Miriam, they came around and asked, like, what could we do better? Like, are you enjoying it? Are you finding everything the way you want it? Do you have any suggestions? And we talked to them a lot about the difference between low carb options, no sugar added options.
Right. Well, that's what Chris just said. It annoys me when you put sugar free and no sugar added does not mean low in carbohydrates.
Exactly. So they would have a no sugar added pineapple cake for
that
instance.
Is not sugar free.
And they're using flour. So I'm like,
and pineapple.
And so I would say to the guy, like, we appreciate, like, you're trying. So that is something. No added sugar is like one step forward in the right direction. But I will tell you, somebody that's like us, that's keto, we're still not going to eat that because I don't want flour.
Right.
So he was like, what are some things that we could do? And we talked about Jell-O, we talked about pudding, and we talked about like other things that they could do. And they really received that information well. So don't be worried about being an imposition.
So it's funny, we started the thing with the hamburgers. Amanda said, ew, mustard on hamburgers, yuck.
What about hot dogs?
Monica said, McDonald's with mustard is weird. Trish said, yep, not in Western New York either. No mustard on Mickey D's. And she said, and John said, you told us that when you made the cheeseburger casserole. Yeah.
What about onions? Did you grow up with like, would they put the onions on like a McDonald's hamburger? Like, and did you like that?
I do.
I still like
Jamie
it.
said, I ordered a $1 McChicken sandwich on the road at 2 a.m. in 2008. I was going to say, they don't have a dollar menu anymore, do they?
No.
Came from Iowa, was in New Mexico. Iowa was plain. New Mexico was spicy, in the dark on the highway.
So it was funny. I was coming back like early in the morning from John Paul and Michelle's, coming back to Arcadia. And I stopped at a McDonald's because I just got hungry. I didn't have time for breakfast, but I got hungry on the road. And so I said, well, I'm just gonna get like 2 double cheeseburgers and just get the patties. And I said, no bread, just give me the patties, and no ketchup or whatever. And it was funny, that particular cashier was like, huh, really? No bun? You don't need any bun? And I was like, no. And he goes, what will we do with that? Should I put it on a bed of lettuce? And I was like, I'm fine if you would like to do that. And he was like, okay, all right. But they actually had me, and this was a first because I'm used to ordering something like that regularly when we're in Coconut Creek. But here in like, I guess the middle of the state, they don't get that much of a request. And so he was like, you're going to need to pull in to like the number, how they have like numbered
special make it.
It's like a special make it. It really even wasn't that busy, but I think that they really had to stop and figure out like, how in the world would we even do this? And I was like, you know how you make your hamburger and you put the bun down and then you put the order of hamburgers and then you put a bun on top?
You screwed up their schedule.
Just don't do the number one thing and the last thing.
Right. Okay, so John said, question, what do you guys think about cornstarch as a thickener? I don't use it. I try to avoid it. If I buy something and I see cornstarch as a thickener, I generally wouldn't buy it. If I am on a cruise, if I'm at a restaurant, I assume that any sauces or gravies or anything like that use cornstarch, and I just deal with it because I believe 90% is good enough. But I don't go out of my way actively to use it. And if I know it's there, like in something that I am buying and bringing home, then I don't buy it. I find an alternative because it does have carbohydrates.
So we're heading into like Thanksgiving time. People are going to be making some new dishes. If you're new to keto, you're like, how am I going to thicken things like gravy? What are things that you could use instead of cornstarch?
Cognac flour. I mean, there's different types of keto thickeners. Guar gum. Oh, it's a love bug. Amanda said any fast food here has lettuce wraps on the menu, and they will put it in a bowl.
Isn't that
That's
nice?
cool.
I know, it was just funny that I'm not. It's been a while since someone was like, "No bun. What are you talking about?" It's been a while.
Jen said, I love onions now, but those nasty reconstituted onions at Mickey D's used back when they were not my favorite. That was, I'm sorry, from Trish. It moved. Jen says, is it just me or do other people feel satisfied watching people on YouTube do mukbangs? Some people, we actually used to do them, and then we started getting hateful comments, so we stopped doing it.
A lot of comments about how much Rachel eats was mostly a lot of the hateful comments, that I eat too much, that I'm a gluttonous pig, that I'm gross looking when I eat. So after like a lot of those comments, and that like I should be ashamed of myself for the quantity of food that I can consume in a sitting, it gets hard to take after a while.
Jen said use beef gelatin. That's another
That's
option.
another one.
Lady Fritzer said, I'm doing a lettuce wrap BLT tomorrow. Homemade butter mayo.
Before mommy hit the road today, I made the most awesome kitchen sink salad for her. We had a little bit of like just lettuce, you know, just like iceberg lettuce. And on that, I cut up hard-boiled eggs, pepperoni, leftover rotisserie chicken, fried bologna, bacon, and some kimchi pickles. And then I sprinkled a little bit of peanuts on it for crunch. And she was like, holy crap. She's like, you know that if we went to a restaurant, this weirdo thing that you just made me, which was really delicious because it had all these different textures and stuff like that, and like heavy on different meats. She's like, we'd probably pay like $25 for this thing, and you're just like a bowl of leftovers. It was fun. It was good.
Amanda said the joy of keto is you can actually eat. Some of those people, you should block them and keep them being joyfully you.
I have stopped being ashamed of eating. This is me. Like I can understand like if you see us eating in a vlog and you're like repulsed by me, just fast forward. Yep. Like just don't watch that part. You know, I get it. If you want to see somebody who doesn't eat a lot, like just like put the side of your, you know, put a posted sticker over my face and you can just watch Joe because he eats like a normal human.
Monica said, Rachel, I love you because I eat more than my husband too. You are the best.
Thank you.
Jamie said it made me feel good that you eat like me. If it's keto, I can do it and be healthy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
John said, whoever mentions how much you eat, just show them a pic from when you didn't eat that much.
You're so right. That is a very important thing because yes, when I was calorie restricting, it's hard to kind of unfold the torture that it was. You say things like, for 2 straight years, I did nothing but consume 500 calories a day for 2 straight years, completely religiously, because I was terrified of interactions with food. But you can imagine somebody like me who eats now very intuitively. When I'm hungry, I eat. Like only eating 500 calories a day, like a little tiny bit of oatmeal. Talk about white knuckling my day. It was miserable. And I spent a lot of time like punching myself in the brain of like, stop thinking about food. Like, stop it. Right. Like, you're a terrible person. Stop it. Who cares? You're not getting food. Like, just shut up. Like, I really had a very bad relationship with myself because I wasn't eating the proper food, but I was eating very inauthentic to my own hunger cues. So I was constantly fighting myself. It was very torturous.
Okay, so I lost somebody wanted to know. Well, Bob said, can you do a la carte for McDonald's hamburgers?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. You have the whole corporate McDonald's, but it is franchises. So I find that sometimes you can get a variety when you come, even though McDonald's is supposed to be like a moo-moo, it's supposed to be the same no matter where you go. Sometimes different managers or different staff are more accommodating than others.
Yeah, and different states are a little bit different. Okay, so Beth has a question.
Hey, Beth.
Is agar-agar okay to use as a thickener? Okay. So can you use it on a keto diet? Yes. Would I? No. So agar it's a little controversial. It's made from red seaweed, and because of that, there's some question on how healthy it is. Vegetarians use it as gelatin.
Yeah.
If you're going to use agar, just use beef gelatin. It's better for you. Beef gelatin is always going to be better for you because it's protein and it's collagen. And agar is from seaweed. So it's the same thing with people look at like heavy cream and there's carrageenan, and it's the same thing because carrageenan is made from a seaweed.
Right.
And so there's this big controversy of, is it good for you? Is it bad for you? I'm on one of those people, like 90% is good enough. I don't consume that much carrageenan, and I'm not going to go out of my way to try to find a heavy cream, which have fun with that. There's not many out there that doesn't have some type of a thickener. Because you can. So pretty much what we all find in the store is heavy whipping cream. It's always going to have a thickener. It's always going to have an emulsifier. So a lot of times you're using carrageenan in there. If you want one without that, you have to find heavy cream. That's harder to find.
Yeah. And it's more expensive a lot of times.
It's much harder to find. Like the only place that I have ever found is one Winn-Dixie in South Florida. All of the stores by us sell heavy whipping cream, and nobody carries just flat out heavy cream. And there is a difference in the amount of fat that's in there. Heavy whipping cream tends to have emulsifiers and thickeners to make it whip up and hold that, like whipped cream for a little bit longer. One or two more before we get off. John said, you are not starving, not getting the nutrients that your body needs. Wonder why you were miserable.
Oh, yeah.
Monica, thank you for the $5 super chat.
Monica.
Said I figured out I wasn't eating enough for my body, and I was doing reverse dieting on my own now. Do you have any pointers? By the way, you guys are the best.
Thanks, Monica.
So do we have any pointers for reverse diet slow?
Yeah.
One of the best things you can do, if you're like, I just don't know how much to add one egg a day this week, and then next week add about that much more, maybe add a second egg in or a tablespoon of butter. You want to up your fat and your protein by about 50 to 75 calories per week. And you're going to do that for 8 to 12 weeks. It's like you want to get yourself up to the point of you're eating 2,000 to 2,400 calories. Then you're going to stay there for a few weeks, and then you can take a little bit off, like 200 or 300 calories. You don't want to go from get yourself to 2,300 calories and then slash it to 17.
Right.
You're going to get yourself to 2,300 calories and then slash it to like 2,000 or 2,100.
I know that it is really hard to do things slow. It is hard to, if you're like strength training, to even do that appropriately, right? You want to jump as soon as you're like, gosh, I'm really excited about this, but I have to like go up in increments really slowly. And it's the same thing for like, if you're trying to dial back something or you're trying to like reverse diet up, it's really hard to have the patience for it. But I want you to remember something: slow and steady, fast and fragile. If you try to do things fast, you are going to break something. It is not going to work out the way you want it to. So when you are having frustrating, you're like, gosh, I just want to jam this thing in. I just want to make this happen. I want to hurry up and get to the end of this. Slow and steady. That's what you want. You want steadiness. Fast and fragile. You don't want it to be fragile. You don't want to like have your success be fragile and so vulnerable to it falling apart.
Okay, we are going to get off. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time for Keto Beyond the Couch. And what time are you doing that video tomorrow?
I'm hoping 10 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern time.
Two Crazy Campers YouTube channel.
See what's happening at the Double K farm.
Have a good night, guys.
We love
Bye.
you.